What if one sentence was enough to make Jungkook regret everything he had ever said, while Taehyung quietly walked away without looking back? What if the words that shattered the silence between them were never meant to be heard by anyone else? And what if the moment ARMY believed was just another emotional misunderstanding suddenly revealed a secret that had been hidden for far too long? ARMY, before you continue, ask yourself one question. If someone you cared about said something that hurt you deeply, would you stay and fight for an explanation, or would you simply turn around and leave? Because according to this fictional fan-made story, that exact question became the center of an emotional moment involving Jungkook and Taehyung, a moment that allegedly left fans imagining tears, regret, silence, and a goodbye no one expected. What happened behind that mysterious sentence? Why did Taehyung suddenly leave after hearing it? And why did Jungkook appear to realize, perhaps too late, that his words had crossed the line? Stay until the end, because the final twist changes the meaning of everything that happened before it. If this emotional story makes you feel something, tell us in the comments what you think Jungkook should have done differently. Do you believe Taehyung should have stayed and listened to Jungkook's explanation, or was walking away the only way he could protect his heart? Don't forget to like this story, subscribe for more emotional BTS fan-made narratives, and turn on notifications, because sometimes the most painful moments begin with words that seem completely ordinary. The room had been quiet for several minutes. Not the comfortable kind of quiet that Jungkook and Taehyung had experienced countless times before. This silence felt different. It carried weight. It sat between them like something neither of them wanted to touch. Outside the window, the city continued moving. Cars passed through the streets. Lights flickered in distant buildings. Somewhere, people were laughing, talking, and living ordinary lives. But inside that room, time seemed to have stopped. Jungkook sat quietly, his eyes fixed on the floor. Taehyung stood near the window, his back turned. Neither of them appeared ready to speak. And yet, according to the fictional story that has left fans emotionally shaken, everything began with a single question. Do you really mean that? The question was simple. But Jungkook did not answer immediately. That hesitation became the first warning. Taehyung slowly turned around. His expression was difficult to read. There was no anger in his eyes. No shouting. No dramatic reaction. Instead, there was something far more painful. Disappointment. The kind of disappointment that appears when someone has already heard the answer they feared. Jungkook finally looked up. What do you mean? Taehyung gave a small, almost tired smile. You know exactly what I mean. For a moment, Jungkook seemed confused. He looked toward Taehyung as if trying to remember what had been said earlier. But perhaps the problem was not that he had forgotten. Perhaps the problem was that he had remembered every word. Earlier that evening, the conversation had reportedly started casually. There was no plan for an emotional confrontation. No expectation that anyone would cry. No reason for either of them to believe that the night would end differently from any other. They had been talking about the past. About moments they had shared. About the years that had changed them. About how people sometimes grew older and began to see their lives differently. Jungkook had been unusually quiet throughout most of the conversation. Taehyung noticed it, but at first he did not ask. He knew Jungkook sometimes needed time to organize his thoughts. He knew that silence did not always mean sadness. But that night, the silence felt unfamiliar. Eventually, Taehyung asked what was wrong. Jungkook said nothing. Taehyung asked again. Still nothing. Then, perhaps because the silence had become too heavy, Jungkook finally spoke. I think some things are better left in the past. Those words were not loud. They were not cruel. They were not meant to cause pain. At least, that was what Jungkook may have believed in that moment. But Taehyung heard something else. He heard distance. He heard rejection. He heard the possibility that everything they had experienced together could now be reduced to something that belonged only to the past. And that was when the atmosphere changed. Taehyung looked at him. Some things? Jungkook realized immediately that his words had been misunderstood. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Jungkook hesitated again. And sometimes, hesitation can hurt more than an answer. Taehyung waited. Jungkook opened his mouth, but no words came out. The silence continued. Then, in a moment that would later become the emotional center of this fictional story, Jungkook said something that he reportedly never intended to become the final sentence of the night. I don't think you should wait for me anymore. The room became completely silent. Taehyung did not move. For several seconds he simply stared at Jungkook. Jungkook himself seemed to realize the impact of what he had said only after the words had already escaped. Taehyung. But Taehyung raised his hand. Not aggressively. Not dramatically. Just enough to stop him. Don't. That single word reportedly broke something inside Jungkook. Because Taehyung was not shouting. He was not angry. He was simply tired. Tired of asking questions. Tired of trying to understand. Tired of waiting for answers that never came. And perhaps most painfully, tired of pretending that certain words did not hurt. Jungkook stood up. Wait. I didn't mean it like that. Taehyung looked at him. Then how did you mean it? Jungkook had no immediate answer. And that was when Taehyung's expression changed. Not into anger. Into realization. Sometimes, people do not leave because they hate someone. Sometimes, they leave because they finally understand that staying in the same place is hurting them. Taehyung looked toward the door. Jungkook took one step forward. Please! Taehyung stopped. For a brief moment, it seemed as though he might turn around. Jungkook's heart appeared to be racing. This was the moment when everything could still be explained. The moment when one sentence could be corrected by another. The moment when a misunderstanding could be erased. But then Taehyung asked a question that Jungkook was not prepared to answer. If you don't want me to wait for you anymore, what exactly am I supposed to do? Jungkook froze. The question was simple. But there was no simple answer. Because perhaps Taehyung had not been asking about waiting in the literal sense. Perhaps he was asking about years of memories. About promises that were never officially made. About moments that had felt meaningful to both of them. About the unspoken understanding that had existed between them even when neither of them had the courage to define it. Jungkook looked down. I just don't want you to get hurt. Taehyung smiled sadly. And you think saying that doesn't hurt me? That was the moment when Jungkook reportedly realized the mistake. He had believed he was protecting Taehyung. But perhaps, in trying to protect him, he had become the person causing the pain. The room seemed smaller now. The distance between them was only a few steps. Yet emotionally it felt impossible to cross. Jungkook wanted to explain everything. He wanted to say that he had never wanted Taehyung to leave. He wanted to say that his words had come from fear. Fear of the future. Fear of change. Fear that one day, the people they loved would move on. Fear that the life they had known would eventually become something they could no longer return to. But fear has a strange way of disguising itself. Sometimes, fear sounds like indifference. Sometimes, fear sounds like rejection. Sometimes, fear makes people push away the person they most desperately want to keep close. Jungkook finally whispered. I was afraid. Taehyung looked at him. Of what? Jungkook's eyes appeared to become more emotional. Of losing you. Taehyung stared at him. The words should have brought comfort. But they came too late. Because moments earlier, Jungkook had told him not to wait anymore. And now he was saying he was afraid of losing him. Taehyung shook his head. You can't tell someone to leave and then say you're afraid they'll go. Jungkook said nothing. Because he knew Taehyung was right. There are moments when apologies cannot immediately repair the damage. Not because the apology is meaningless, but because the wound is still open. Taehyung moved toward the door. Jungkook's voice became softer. Are you really leaving? Taehyung stopped. He did not turn around. I think I should. Why? This time, Taehyung took several seconds before answering. Because if I stay, I might keep hoping you'll say something different. Jungkook closed his eyes. That sentence reportedly left the greatest emotional impact on the fictional audience. Because Taehyung was not leaving because he had stopped caring. He was leaving because he still cared too much. And that was precisely what made the moment so painful. Jungkook took another step. Taehyung. This time, Taehyung turned around. Their eyes met. For a moment, neither of them spoke. There was so much they could have said. So many memories. So many conversations. So many moments when they had stood beside each other without needing words. But now, when words were needed most, neither of them seemed to know what to say. Jungkook's expression changed. He looked like someone who had finally understood the consequences of his own sentence. The regret had arrived. But regret is cruel. It often arrives after the moment, when the damage has already been done. Please don't leave like this, Jungkook said. Taehyung looked at him quietly. Then tell me not to leave. Jungkook froze. Taehyung waited. The entire emotional weight of the moment appeared to rest on one answer. Tell me not to leave. Jungkook could have said it. He could have said the words immediately. He could have crossed the distance between them. He could have admitted that he was wrong. He could have said that he did not want Taehyung to leave. But instead, he hesitated. And that hesitation hurt Taehyung more than anything. Taehyung looked away. I understand. No, Jungkook said quickly. You don't. Then explain it. Jungkook looked overwhelmed. I don't know how. Taehyung gave a faint smile. That's the problem. And then he opened the door. Jungkook's heart seemed to collapse. Wait. Taehyung stopped. Jungkook stared at him. I regret saying it. Taehyung did not move. Jungkook continued. I regret telling you not to wait. Taehyung finally turned around. Do you regret it because you didn't mean it, or because you're afraid I'll actually leave? Jungkook could not answer immediately. The question was devastating because it forced him to confront the truth. Was he truly sorry? Or was he simply afraid of losing someone once that person had finally decided to walk away? Jungkook lowered his head. I think both. Taehyung looked at him. And for the first time that night, his expression appeared to soften. Not because everything was fixed, but because Jungkook had finally stopped pretending to have all the answers. I don't want to lose you, Jungkook said. Taehyung closed his eyes for a moment. Then why do you keep making me feel like I have to leave? The question remained in the room. Jungkook had no defense. No excuse. No perfect explanation. Only regret. And perhaps that was the most painful part of the story. Because sometimes the person who hurts you is not trying to destroy you. Sometimes they are simply struggling with their own fear. But pain does not become less painful simply because it was unintentional. Taehyung eventually stepped away from the door. He did not leave immediately. Jungkook looked at him with hope. But Taehyung did not return to where he had been standing. Instead, he moved toward the window. The same window he had stood beside when the conversation began. The city lights were still visible outside. But the atmosphere inside the room had changed completely. Jungkook remained silent. Taehyung stared outside. After a long pause, Taehyung spoke. Do you know what hurts the most? Jungkook said nothing. When someone says something hurtful, you can always tell yourself that they were angry. Jungkook looked at him. But you weren't angry. Taehyung continued. You were calm. Jungkook's face changed. And that made me believe you really meant it. The words struck Jungkook harder than any accusation could have. Because Taehyung was right. The most painful words are sometimes not shouted. They are spoken quietly, calmly, as if the person saying them has already made a decision. Jungkook sat down again. He looked exhausted. I was trying to convince myself. Taehyung turned around. Convince yourself of what? That I could let you go. The room fell silent again. Taehyung looked at him. Jungkook continued. I thought if I said it first, it wouldn't hurt as much if you eventually left. Taehyung stared at him. Jungkook's voice became quieter. I thought I could prepare myself. Taehyung slowly shook his head. You can't prepare yourself for losing someone by hurting them first.